NYC mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani pulls out of ABC event in solidarity with Jimmy Kimmel, citing free speech concerns. New York in a powerful and politically charged move, Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic frontrunner for New York City mayor, announced today that he is withdrawing from an upcoming town hall event with WABC-TV. The decision, Mamdani stated, is a direct act of protest against ABC's recent and controversial suspension of late-night host Jimmy Kimmel. The controversy stems from comments Kimmel made on his show last week regarding the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Following the comments, a swift backlash from conservative figures and the Trump administration ensued. Brendan Carr, the chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, publicly criticized Kimmel and suggested that the FCC could take action against ABC's parent company, Disney, by revoking broadcast licenses. In response, ABC announced it was taking Kimmel's show off the air. This sequence of events has sparked a nationwide debate over freedom of speech, political pressure on media outlets, and the role of corporate responsibility in upholding a free press. Speaking at a news conference on Monday, Zohran Mamdani framed his withdrawal from the town hall as a stand against corporate capitulation to political threats. "We simply cannot accept any capitulation to Donald Trump's attacks on our fundamental freedoms," Mamdani said. "Now is the time for leadership that fights back with action, and collectively, we must use every tool at our disposal to send a message to Washington and corporate powers alike: our freedom to speech is not a bargaining chip." Mamdani, who is campaigning on a platform of taking a more aggressive approach to what he calls the Trump administration's abuses of power, described ABC's decision to suspend Kimmel as an act of cowardice. He emphasized that his protest was not an indictment of the local station or the hardworking journalists, but rather a condemnation of the corporate leadership that he believes have put their bottom line ahead of their responsibility in upholding the freedom of the press. This move by Mamdani represents some of the most significant pushback from a high-profile Democratic politician against ABC's decision. It comes as free speech advocates and political commentators from across the spectrum have rallied in support of Kimmel, with a recent free speech rally taking place in Times Square to denounce the suspension. The situation has created an unusual alliance, with some conservatives also voicing concern over the FCC's aggressive stance. Senator Ted Cruz, for example, warned that the FCC's approach could set a dangerous precedent, stating that if the government gets in the business of censoring speech it doesn't like, it could eventually be used against conservatives. Mamdani's decision to forego the WABC-TV town hall, which was scheduled for this Thursday, puts a spotlight on the growing political risk for media companies perceived as bowing to political pressure. It forces a conversation about the balance between a media corporation's business interests and its public responsibility as a purveyor of news and commentary. The controversy also underscores the high-stakes political environment in which journalists and entertainers are operating, where a single comment can trigger a firestorm and draw the ire of government officials. As the New York City mayoral race heats up, Mamdani's stance is likely to resonate with voters who are concerned about political interference in the media. His campaign has made it a point to stand up to what they see as anti-democratic forces, and this latest move appears to be a direct extension of that message. The ripple effects of this incident from the late-night television landscape to the halls of the FCC and the streets of New York City are still unfolding.